Hi again, everybody. So today we're talking about accessibility in Microsoft EDU. This video in particular is going to focus on Windows 10 accessibility and the accessibility features that you have built right into your operating system that you just may not even know about. So all of my resources for today throughout the videos are going to be housed here, bit.ly/accessiblemicrosoft. And my name is Lindsey. I am the Microsoft Learning Consultant for the Philadelphia and Pennsylvania and New Jersey areas. And it's my job to go into schools and actually train students, teachers, educators on accessibility tools as well as Office 365 tools, things like Flipgrid and engagement tools that you can bring to students in the classroom. My background is in teaching. I spent 4 years prior to this teaching special and elementary education. So we're going to go ahead right into it. And again, we're focusing all of these videos on really creating that accessible environment, not necessarily for particular students, but for all students. And I'm going to use my Sway Navigator tool here. And I'm going to go ahead and scroll because this Windows 10 is going to be towards the end. So I'm going to scroll to 19. So Windows 10 accessibility. Basically what people don't know, I think a lot of times, is they get their device and they know that it has Windows 10 operating system, but they just don't know all of the features. And it does take a long time to go through, some of the features that may help make your life a little bit easier. So what I want to just highlight is a few of those features that are really useful within the classroom for students and also for you guys as educators as well. So one of those things that I want to highlight here, the first thing is called text suggestions. And text suggestions actually allows the user to get suggested words while they are typing. And this is also known sometimes as word prediction. So it works with your software keyboard, and basically you can set it up in any application on Windows 10 once you turn it on within the settings. So I'm going to do a quick demo. I'm in Windows 10 settings, so I would just go into my start menu and click on settings here. Once I'm in the settings option, I have the option to go into lots of different areas, but I'm going to go into devices to set up my text suggestions within the typing option. So in typing, I go down and I scroll down to where it says hardware keyboard, and I see show text suggestions as I type. When I turn this on, that will now show those suggestions as I'm typing in an application. So I can go to something as such as OneNote. And as I'm typing, this is an example. Notice how text suggestion shows up and says, hey, are you writing example of, examples, right? So as I'm typing, it's giving me suggestions. This is really useful for students because if they have a device and you already know if they're texting and they start typing the, EXA, it will come up, example, that they can use that as they're typing a text. So this is very familiar to a lot of our students. And that lives right in the settings. I can turn that on and off. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to turn that off. And I'm just going to go back to the setting homepage. Now, another example of something that we have that you can use within our Windows 10 operating system is called the Ease of Access Center. And the Ease of Access Center, it was really created around this idea of accessibility. And the thing that I love about it is when you actually get into the Ease of Access Center, so I'm going to go into it right now. So I'm going to click on Ease of Access. When you actually go into this Ease of Access Center, on the left-hand side, it has kind of broken into different categories based on the need. So if your need is vision, there are lots of different settings that you can change and you can manipulate based on your need. Same thing for hearing, same thing for interaction. So all of these are based on the actual need of the individual, and they can go into any of these categories and they can choose what they want to change. So I'm going to focus on vision here for a second. And I love this option of turning on a magnifier for the screen specifically, so that if you have a student who may have a visual impairment and they need to see things a little bit bigger on the screen, they can use a magnifier and change that zoom level based on their need. Same thing goes for color filters. I know we talked a lot about color filtration and color high contrasting, but in our Windows 10 settings, I have the ability to turn on color filters, and I can change those filters based on my need. If I have a color blindness need and I want to change those based on my color blindness need, I can go in and I can change those color filters based on my need, so that now my device, my personal device, or my device that I use daily, is actually more accessible to me and it's personalized for me. Same thing goes with cursor and pointer. This is a really great option for having just a larger pointer option. So you can see that I can change that to be kind of a larger or a smaller pointer size. And that, again, helps students with noticing where they are on the screen. There's also a narrator option. Now, this narrator option is a screen reader that allows students or others to have things read aloud to them that are on the screen. So I can turn on narrator here, and it would essentially read this entire page to me, so that I can then navigate from there based on that narrator and that screen reader. So I can personalize it, I can change speeds and things like that, but this is something that's built right into Windows 10. So for my students, if they need that immersive reader type feature, they can use that right within the Windows 10 operating system. There's also an option for closed captions. So you can get that closed captioning option on videos that you may have or videos that you may present to students using AI technology. That's going to allow you to get that closed caption. And then one of the things that's still kind of in a preview mode, but this is very amazing that this is coming out to Windows 10, is an eye control option that will actually allow students who may have a physical impairment or a temporary disability to actually control the screen just by using their eye movements. So that's something that's in preview mode right now, but it's something that you can see a demo of at any Microsoft store. They can show you how that works. So I want to go back to my Sway, and I want to just note a few other things in Microsoft Edge browser. Microsoft Edge is the browser that comes with Windows 10, and Microsoft Edge is the browser that I'm using for my demo. So I'm going to show you a few things. First thing I want to show you is the inking capability. So I'm just going to go ahead and open a new tab here, and I'm going to actually open up Tween Tribune. If you're not familiar, this is a website similar to Newsella that provides current events and news for students. I'm going to go ahead and click on an article. And when I click on that article, I notice that over on the right-hand side and up here, there's just kind of some fluff, right? And I want to make it a little bit nicer to read. So I'm going to actually choose the reading view on the screen, and this is built right into Edge. So I choose reading view, and look what happens. It actually pulls up the article in a nice, neat format for me to actually go through and read. Now, not only do I have that, but if I right-click, I can actually get this read aloud.
Zebras have striking black and white stripes. They boast one of the most iconic coats of the animal kingdom.
So along with what we just talked about in Windows 10, having that narrator, having that screen reader, this is actually built into Microsoft Edge, and you can use that read aloud feature with any article, any website that you may need it for. Now, I can click off the immersive reader or the read aloud, and I can go in and I can see some learning tools here as well. So like we talked about with immersive reader, I can change my page theme, right? I can go ahead and turn on text spacing, and I can go ahead and I can actually get some grammar tools as well, like syllables and parts of speech. I also have reading preferences here that I can turn on line focus, which is really helpful for students who need that focus line by line. Maybe they're using a ruler, right, on a piece of paper. They can use this line focus option right within the browser as well. So I can turn those things on and off. I also have the inking capability. So I'm going to go back to this first page, and let's just pretend I'm a student and I want to go ahead and take some notes. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Add Notes option up in the top, and I'm going to get these options. So I can actually go through and I can ink or highlight directly on the page. And I can come back to this at any point in time. After I'm done with this, I can choose to save this as a web note. I can also choose to share this as well. I can even get a comment option that allows me to type and leave comments on the page itself. So this is a really nifty tool for students who are really needing something extra as they're annotating, as they're taking those notes, they're highlighting things. They can get this, and this is built right into Microsoft Edge. So I'm going to go back to my Sway just to make sure we didn't miss anything. Oh, the last thing that I did want to point out, so the first three things we went over, inking, reading mode, and immersive reader. The last thing there is just add-ins. So one of the other features within, of course, any browser that you probably have has the ability to have an add-in. With this add-in, what I can actually do is I can translate the entire page. So there is an add-in for a translator, and I can now translate this entire page from, let's say, English to something like Haitian Creole. So I can go ahead and I can translate, and now it will translate the entire page for me to my language of choice. So now I can go through and I can actually see this entire page in my language of choice just using that browser. So this is one of the add-ins that we have for Microsoft Edge browser. You can get it through the Microsoft Store within the Microsoft Edge browser, and a lot of times they're free add-ins that you just have to push out. Sometimes an admin has to push them out from the school district level, but that's something that you can definitely ask them for. And I want to just point out back to my Sway. On the very bottom of my Sway, I have lots of accessibility support options. So if you need extra accessibility support like a disability answer desk or any other references or resources, this is where you can find all of those resources and references. There's also a Wakelet collection of different inclusive classroom resources that our Microsoft team has put together for you that are there on your Sway for today. So again, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.